Hi, welcome to Engelgeist. This is my channel, and this is my first pick a card. I am going to say I'm a little nervous, but we're doing a pick a card. The subject matter is what does your heart desire? So I've made 3 piles and communed with spirit, so to speak, around finding the heart's desires of the 3 piles. So right now, if you would, excuse me, that's my dog over there in the corner. I'm new to this, so my dog's probably gonna throw up during the video or something. We'll see. Get out of here, Gus. Anyways, so this is, welcome to my first pick a card. I'm a little nervous, I've said that. I will get better with the cameras and stuff, but I'm doing this with a small table and figuring it all out as I go. So please bear with me, and please feel free to pick the pile that you feel most drawn to. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out your mouth, and choose a pile that your spirit or your heart draws you to. This is pile 1, which is rose quartz. Pile 2 has a little charm here of Saint Judas. Of Tadeo, and then pile 3 has a stick of Palo Santo. So if you need to pause the video to figure out which pile you want, or if you just want to watch my dogs lick each other, you guys, oh my God. Anyways, stop. Okay, so yeah, you can pause the video if you'd like. If not, I'm going to start with pile 1. Please feel free to leave me any comments in the comment section with whichever pile you picked and whether or not it resonated with you. I would love to know if this is a success or if it even works or if I'm doing it correctly. I am doing it because I'm inspired by other YouTube tarot people that do this, and they do it so well and they blow my mind. So I want to see if it's something that I myself feel as though I could do. So please leave comments and let me know whether or not it resonated, okay? So I will put in timestamps in the description, and I am working with 3 decks. There's 3 sets of cards from 3 different decks, and one of the decks, the tarot deck that I'm using, is a brand new deck that I have not used before, so that will be exciting for me just as much as for you guys, okay? So I am gonna now start with pile number 1, the rose quartz. So for people who chose pile number 1, for your tarot cards, you have the King of Cups. Excuse me, card slipped. You have the Universe. Interesting. And you have, wow, the Ace of Wands. Okay, so looking at these 3 cards right out of the gate, I'm going to say that there's a lot of power to this group. You guys have a lot of, how do I want to say this? It feels like things are really coming together for you. With this King of Cups kicking it off, it feels like there might be a little bit of loneliness. When I look at this King, it feels like you've come through some emotional pasts, but you've really sort of healed some of those emotions in your heart. There may be a little bit of loneliness at this time, right? Where you're in this sort of transition, where I feel like he's coming up out of these waves and moving into a new period in his life, right? And that's where this Universe card kicks in. This Universe card to me feels interesting too, because it is sort of desolate and cold, but again, it shows here that the emotions, like I look at this water here, and this emotions, it feels like the emotions are contained. It feels like sort of it's surrounded and safe. You've done some work on your heart. This group definitely has done some serious healing work, some serious going inward is what I want to say, and really sort of has been through a lot emotionally, let's say. And it's interesting because the rose quartz was on top of here, and I did not look at these cards before, but rose quartz is definitely a stone of healing and a heart-centered stone. That's why I chose it. But this says to me that you guys have done the work. Like these mountains here feel to me, oh wow, and there's like a spirit here in this mountain. If you look very closely, can you see her? This deck is new to me too, guys, so I'm just kind of going with how I feel about it. But to me, it feels like there's this spirit, that maybe even the spirit of the universe or our spirit guides that are sort of guiding us right now, from this place of emotional maybe turmoil into an understanding in a more healed state where we're in control of our emotions. We're now the King of Cups. And then the next card, which I love, these are really powerful, is the Ace of Wands. Wands is always like a fiery energy, which is a nice balance to the Cups energy of the King. It sits in a sort of a seat of power, the King, right? The Ace of Wands is a little bit more, to me, it's more spiritual power in a way. The aces always kind of represent like a higher spiritual power. With this wand here, it feels like we're ready for new, and wands also deals with the spirit in most tarot decks, the suit of wands. This feels like we're really kind of connecting our emotional self to our spiritual self after having done the work, and we're ready for new beginnings. And we're sort of like, not to take it too literally, but we're fired up to be to get started. It feels to me like there's a new journey about to happen for you. When I tie this to your heart, it feels like the work has been done, the pain has been suffered, the stitching and the mending of our emotions has taken place, and we're ready for something new, new ideas, new thought, new relationships, new friendships. We may have even had to, for some of you who've picked this pile, it feels like we may have even had to step away from sort of familial relationships that no longer serve us. But to me, this Wands card feels strong in ourselves, right? This singular wand here with the growth that's coming off of it. It feels to me like there is a strength here, there is a power here that we're sort of accessing within our hearts. And then it's funny when I think about this, and not to make it all about hearts this, hearts that, but it is about what your hearts desire. I think of that song by Sia, Elastic Heart. So I feel like that song would go very well with this group, where she says, I have thick skin and an elastic heart. It feels like you guys have done the work in these three tarot cards to really have found the inner strength and the wherewithal within yourself and your spirit to move on to a new journey, a new adventure, right? So the next card, this is from the John Holland's deck, the Psychic Tarot of the Heart. This is the third eye chakra. Interesting. So this tells me that you guys are very intuitive, working from your third eye, going on intuition at this point. And that makes sense due to the fact that you have this Ace of Wands spirit card here, and also you have that King of Cups, the emotionality. And if we remember in that, if I need to, let me just pull this back out. There is this spirit guide or this spirit working in the universe card down here in the corner. So it says to me that you guys are definitely tuned in and turned on. You're listening to your hearts, you're listening to your intuition, you're using your third eye, and you're definitely getting your information from a higher place right now. I feel like this Ace of Wands feels like your desires are strong and burning hard, like burning clear, or the messages are coming clear with this third eye chakra card being present, right? And this Ace of Wands, the fiery energy of it and the directness of it and the sort of the clarity of this Ace of Wands says to me that those of you in this group, you've made clear exactly what it is you want, and now you're intuitively sort of going after it with this third eye chakra card. Does that make sense? I hope it does. This last card is from the Angel Insight pack, and this is healing. Shit, guys. Excuse my language. But it is the healing angel. I don't think I need to say much more. I've said that already. It's all about healing for this group. It's all about having healed the heart. And look at where the light is in this card for this group. Look at where this angel is sort of full and whole and moving forward, and there's these ripples here, there's this water here. We've conquered our sort of emotional selves, and in the sadnesses or the pain that we've dealt with, that we've maybe carried for probably many years in our life, we've actually finally, our heart's desire, if we haven't reached it fully yet, is to have that healing, is to be released of that. And I want to go back to this card previous. Trust your intuition, trust your third eye chakra, trust your higher self, and know that your spirit guides are definitely, like even the universe is represented here. They're definitely guided. Those of you in this group, you're definitely guided by a higher source, and a higher source to your healing. So if you haven't already done all of your healing work, which I think some of you have, but some of you might need to know that have chosen this, where you might be still in some pain or in some sadness, you are in the process of healing if you've chosen this pile. If this was the pile that you were drawn to, you are in for a major transformation if you haven't already transformed. But I think that some of these cards are so strong and so clear, with so much clarity, that I would imagine the majority of this group has done the work and is consciously aware that they have come to a different place. They're ready for something more. I do feel like that something more is on its way with this Ace of Wands. It just has yet to arrive, or we've yet to sort of formulate it and bring it in, but we will. And I love that this healing card just showed up in here. That's just gives me the willies. All right, so that is group one. I hope that you guys get something out of it. Anybody that has chosen group one, please leave messages in the comments section and let me know whether or not that resonated for you. Now I'm going to move on to group two. Group two had the they say it here in Mexico, Saint Judas. So I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of close, but it's Saint Judas Tadeo. So I like him a lot. And he is sort of an interesting saint if you look him up, what he's the saint of. I believe he's the remover of obstacles. So let's see what these cards are. So for your first tarot card is the Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, I'm just going to let you guys look at that for a moment. The Nine of Pentacles. Somebody's heart's desire is money. And the Nine of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I feel like this pile right out of the gate, as I look at these three cards, I'm going to start here with the Knight of Pentacles. There's some hard workers in this group. Those of you that chose this group, you're definitely money oriented. And I feel like your heart's desire is security and success. But when I look at this Nine of Pentacles and I have this knight on this horse working steadily towards his security, his safety, his fortune, he's coming to this woman with a falcon, and it looks like he's almost presenting this pentacle to her. So to me, not only is money important to this group, but I feel like there is a love connection here that's happening between these two cards. So those of you that have chosen this group, I'm going to say this. You guys are definitely I would say money first, love second. Like if I work the job, if I make the money and I make the secure foundation, then I can bring in the relationship and present it and be ready for it. And I think that that's what this tells me about. It's also part of the reason why the success of this is like, it's sort of the wheat here, the birds, all of this stuff, even the contract, the guy holding the contract back here, she has a falcon. These are people of status. He's on this beautiful horse. These are people that, this group is people that like want to work hard and will put in the effort to get not only there with money, but also with love. But I feel like love is more secondary. It's more about financial security here. Now, when I go into this Nine of Swords, this is interesting to me because I look at this and I feel like, let me set these two guys down. I feel like there is a lot of fear, a little bit. I say a lot of fear, a little bit. There is an amount of fear that's in your heart, or in your an amount of worry that maybe you can't have it all. Maybe you can't achieve it all. And these are some big dreams here. Not only do we want love, not only do we want like money and security in this group, but we also want love. And so we're trying to shoot for the whole, like for the moon and the stars in this group. And I feel like that being your heart's desire is great, but there is this sort of feeling of, when I look at this card, it feels like sometimes we work so hard or we get so focused on it that it causes maybe strain, stress, fear, worry. And that can be heavy for our heart. And it's interesting because Saint Judas, right, is the remover of like insurmountable obstacles. This would be a sort of insurmountable obstacle I would see to the creation of this sort of abundant, beautiful love that I see happening in these first two cards. It's so golden and so like these two cards, they almost belong together. They feel like they're like approaching each other in marriage. But first, they need to create their pentacles. They need to get their work done and their security set before they can have that. And that's a big bill to fill. And so I think that causes stress for people in this group. Maybe some, like she looks like she's having a nightmare. Maybe it causes you to wake up in the middle of the night of, oh my God, how am I going to get this done? Or how am I going to achieve that? Or I want this so bad, it matters so much to me. And that's wonderful that we feel that deeply, strongly about something, but we don't want it to take us to this place of this Nine of Swords. So let's see what your Psychic Tarot of the Heart card says. So this is joy and stability. And again, like that goes back to the success of the money thing, this foundation, the security of money. This is what is going to bring us joy and stability in this group, is being financially set, or not set, but secure, and then having that love. And once we bring that in that group, I think we have the possibility, I think that there is the opportunity for people in this group to create that joy and that stability. This card here is the thing that stands in the way for those of you in this group. You have every opportunity here. You're hardworking. You are driven and focused. You are willing to put in the time. That's definitely in that Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a hard worker and sometimes will work long hours or not give up. You guys don't give up. And I don't feel that no is an option for you. Hence why this Nine of Swords sometimes stresses you out. But this joy and stability says to me that your light shines so bright. You're so, the stability is so important to you. Financial security is so important to you. And then love following right after that in your heart, that it's possible for you to create it. It's just, you're gonna have to work through this Nine of Swords to get there. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. And then let me look at what your Angel Insight card is. Guidance. And she's holding a lamp here, guys. I don't know if you can see that. It's beautiful. So what I want to say about this, and also we have St. Judas as our our implement for this pile. St. Judas is, like I said, the remover of insurmountable obstacles, and this is your guidance card. Allow your heart to be your guide. Allow your spirit guides to be your guide. Allow your angels to speak to you and be your guide. You guys in this group, it looks like you've got a big mock-up for a lot of stuff. Financial stability, joy. There's a lot of light shining in this card. There's a lot of activity and excitement, but that could be a hard fall, right? When we maybe don't necessarily, when our ideas don't necessarily come to fruition, or when we feel like we're not succeeding or we're not getting ahead, this group suffers from it and we feel it. And so I think that this guidance card is a nice balance, because we need to remember we're not in this on our own. We have our guides with us. We have our spirits, our own souls and spirits to help us along the path. We have, for those of you that believe in God or the universe, we have that to guide us. Allow that to guide you, and especially in these times when you're feeling distressed or like things aren't working, because you have such a tall order and such a strength of purpose of what you want, and it feels like kind of like you guys want it kind of all, love and money. So allow that guidance to carry you through and light the path when times get tough, okay? So I hope that resonates for you. If it does, please leave comments below, and please like, share, and subscribe. I'm now going to move on to Group 3. Group 3 had the Stick of Palo Santo. Let's see what your tarot cards are. So for your first card, you have the Two of Wands. Interesting. The Knight of Swords. And the Nine of Cups. Wow. Okay, So I'm going to say right out of the gate, twos always make me think of couplings, right? And this woman, she looks like she's magically, wands is the spirit card, right? So she looks like she is trying to manifest a man or love in her crystal ball. She is strong. So I think people in this group, they have a very clear idea of what it is that they want and how they want it. She also feels kind of protected to me by these two wands here. And she is sort of like almost, how do I want to say it? She's sort of manifesting her destiny around love. To me, it feels like she wants that deep spiritual connection. She's holding that crystal ball out and like asking the universe, please bring him to me. Then we have the Knight of Swords. And this doesn't necessarily mean that this is only women in this group. It could be a male doing this in looking for that sort of love. And then the opposing person or even the same sex person, I don't discriminate, but he comes running, he comes charging in this story to me. It feels like he is smart, he is swift, he is strong. We want that type of a partner, somebody that's intelligent, that stimulates us, that offers protection, that brings us sort of intellect and strength and imagination. I think that those of us in this group that have chosen this, we also have this aspect in ourselves. We have this Knight of Swords, just like we could describe ourselves in this way, and we want that in our relationship, in this love that we're trying to create in this first card, right? We want an equal, but this also is represented within us. So I almost see him sort of racing to her in a way. But I want to say this, something says to me that some of you in this group are maybe not quite seeing that he's right behind you. And it's funny because sometimes we get so specific in our ideas of what it is we want that we sometimes don't see it when it's right around us. And I feel like that's for just some of you that are in this group. I need to say, turn around and look. He might be right behind you, or she might be right behind you. It might be somebody you already know. This Nine of Cups is beautiful. This feels like sort of the culmination of once the two meet, it feels like there's sort of a celebration. She looked like she's about to be married. It looks like what she manifested here, the love that was important to her, the spiritual connection and the intellectual connection came through. And now she's emotionally secure, happy, and ready to be settled down and in love. This is a celebration. This is beauty, and she knows that she created this for herself. So those of you who chose this, you have this power to manifest this sort of incredible, equal love, I believe. I think that you guys have this whether it's been created already, you definitely have a very clear idea specifically of what you want. Whether you've brought it in or not, I'm not sure of for this group. I think that some of you may have, or some of you may be in the process, but you definitely have, like, I would even say some of you like list out the qualities you want in a partner. But keep an eye out. Your partner might be right around you and you don't see it. But remember, you want an equal, somebody that's as strong and as smart as you, not necessarily somebody that you have to train or teach or isn't right for you. When you do find that, you will be ready to partner with them, and I feel like this card definitely speaks to marriage. And this honeybee down here is like the sweetness of life. I don't know if you can see that, but to me, I look at that and she's got all of these cups around her, and she knows she's sitting in the presence and awareness that she has created exactly the love that she wanted and deserves. So now let's look at your psychic tarot of the heart. This is daydreams and decisions. Okay, so let's go back here to this first card. She is picking and choosing what she wants. She's asking the universe to bring it to her. This daydreams and decisions sounds like exactly that. Looking into ourselves and trying to figure out what it is we want, how it is we want it to come to us. Not like necessarily first daydreaming and picking out the things that feel good and then deciding, yes, that is what I want, and letting it come to you. Deciding in your heart that this is how I want him to be or her to be. This is what I want them to be. This is how I want them to treat me. That is what feels the best to me. You know, like checking in your heart. Does that idea feel good? Does this person make me like light up in my heart? Are they treating me right? And making those decisions very clear, but also going in. I love that this card is so blue and green to me. It feels very healing. It feels like, and also I love the fact that he's like sort of holding that heart symbol there. It feels to me like we've gotten really clear by going inward to creating the love that it is that we want. And this is not like just sort of, to me, this almost, I don't always buy into that whole twin flame thing, but this could be twin flamers, like in this group. Those of you that are seeking your twin flame, that sort of a thing. I could see this card playing into that. It's really about sort of getting very, very clear on what it is you want and how it is you want it, making those clear decisions in your heart and from your mind, and watching it come to you. Your last card is the Angel Insight card, and this is friendship. Interesting. So when I look at this card, I want to go back to this, where she doesn't see him and he's around her. I wonder if some of you actually have people that are closer to you that are actually fit the bill of the daydreams and decisions that you are trying to put together, and you haven't actually remembered that or realized that maybe the person you're seeking is right in front of you or right around you. It might be a friend or somebody you already know. It also, this relationship or this type of love may come or stem from a friendship or a connection that starts out as a friendship and builds. But I also think that your friendships and how you treat the people that you love in your life right now can also, like those feelings that you have in those relationships, you can use those to help you manifest a deeper love with a partner. Does that make sense? But I would look around you or look at some of the people that you may have friendships with, that you are close to, that you really appreciate and respect, and quite possibly you might find that they might have the qualities that you're looking for in the person that you want to be with. Maybe you haven't seen all of that in them yet, but I have a feeling that that's the case for some of you in this group. This group was represented by Palo Santo, which is a protective wood that you would burn. And to me, you know, I think about the strength of Palo Santo and the protection of Palo Santo. And so I like that this group is definitely strong in their convictions about what it is that they do want, how the decisions that they make about who it is that they want, and the actual conscious manifestation of it, and then the enjoyment of it later, like once it comes. But we have to pay attention to it when it comes. If we're too busy on a specific thing, we might just miss it. And I feel like that's what this friendship card is telling us, because she's coming with this garland, like she's presenting us the gift, and I want us to make sure that we see it. We don't want to be turned away from what it is. Like sometimes we get caught up too much in the details and then we miss what's going on. But if we're open to it, it might come from a surprising place where we don't actually expect it. Does that make sense, guys? I hope it does. This is my very first pick a card, so I hope that it resonates for all of you and all of your groups. Please, please leave comments, likes, shares, subscribe to my channel, to my YouTube channel, and let me know how this went. Any topics that you want me to do, I will attempt to do if you leave them in the comments. And thank you so very much for tuning in and being my guinea pigs. Have a great night, and remember, energy is always a blessing. Your heart, listen to your heart, and that would be a good song by Roxette for the third group, would be Listen to Your Heart. And for the second group, what do I want to give the second group as their song? They were all about, I don't want to give you Money, Money, Money by ABBA, but maybe it's Money, Money, Money by ABBA, because you guys definitely want security, and financial security first, then love. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Take care, and please be on the lookout for my next pick a card if you like this one. Thank you. Bye-bye.